If I was an injury-prone grappler that had no experience or confidence lifting, but one that wanted to strengthen their joints, this is exactly what I would do. What I'm going to cover today is how often you should be training in a week and exactly what type of exercises you should be doing to maximize your results and reduce the negative effects that crosses over into your life and on the mats. Why should you listen to me? I have nearly 7 years of experience as a grappler. I'm a purple belt and I've trained thousands of elite soldiers in the British Army. I also was a Special Forces Support Group operator and a paratrooper, a physical training instructor, and I now coach grapplers online. This is pretty much what I do for a living. So I am very well experienced in all of these matters. The first thing I need to talk about is training frequency. Most men that give up weightlifting because they're so consumed by the grappling art, and with good reason, they tend to always look back on the amount of times that they lifted, when they were a lot younger. The typical Monday chest day, Tuesday back day, all of this stuff. It's very easy to fall into the opinion of you need to be training most days when you're lifting. And that is so not true, especially nowadays when life starts to get in the way. You've got busy family lives, kids have got hobbies and all the rest of it. There is absolutely no chance on this world that any busy man can train 5 times a week. And that's a massive limiting belief for a lot of blokes, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't start. I just need to completely crush that myth straight away. You can get insane gains if you're a grappler training 2 or 3 times per week. And I know that might sound like it's a fantasy, but it's true. I do it with a lot of my clients on the program, but today is about showing you exactly how you can do it for yourself. 2-day split and 3-day split I'm going to be talking about in a little bit of detail. So the 2-day split is going to have you training full body twice. The typical bro split in the fitness world will have you traditionally training one muscle once per week. But if you're training your full body, the main joints, twice in a week, you can potentially get twice as much gains without spending 4, 5, 6 times a week in the gym lifting, which suits everybody. Less time in the gym, more time with your family, happy days, right? So gonna get cracking with the 2-day breakdown. So with the 2-day breakdown, there's a lot of exercises, and straight away you might be overwhelmed by the amount of exercises, thinking, oh my God, this is going to take forever. Notice how there's only 2 sets on every exercise. I don't really program warm-up exercises. I just think people are adults. They have the ability to warm themselves up. Just make sure you're warm for every exercise on here. Leg extension machine, 6 to 10 reps. Dumbbell RDLs, 6 to 10 reps. The reps are the same, the sets are the same. Very straightforward. But just notice that when you're training full body and you are training every exercise really well, and the exercise selection has to be really high quality. So dumbbell RDL, leg press machine, Bulgarian split squat. Then we're going to go into the upper body. Flat dumbbell chest press, dumbbell row, chest dips, lat pull down, and negative chin-ups. We're covering a lot of different joints there, so you're going to get good benefit of the chest, the shoulders, the hips, the knees in particular, and the back muscles as well. So that covers it for full body 1. Full body 2, we're filling the gaps. We're doing similar movements to full body one, but we're just filling the gaps. So I have included a warm-up exercise on this. We've got the calf raises and the tib ant raises, just the lower limb stuff that kind of gets left behind a lot of the times. Hamstring curl machine, deep Smith machine back squat, again, really targeting the knees. Dumbbell single leg RDL, split squat, deep split squat this time, where we target full knee flexion, really end rangey stuff. Incline dumbbell press, wide arm horizontal rows, an incline chest press, and a cable pull down. Again, it's not complicated. You know, every set is, you know, for the most part, it's 2 sets per exercise. For the most part, it's 6 to 10 reps per exercise. If all of these variables are changing very regularly, it just creates unnecessary complexity within your training. And unnecessary complexity, you know, appeals to some people, but if you want results, you just need to keep it as simple as possible. And what I say with all my clients is it's always a road to 10 reps. So eventually you get your technique really well and you lift as heavy as you can. And if you only lift 7 reps, then it's always, right, next week I need to get 8 reps. The week after that I need to get 9 reps. The week after, as soon as you get 10 reps, then you up the weight. So you've got a natural like ladder of progression and it just continues week in, week out. I'm not saying that this is going to get you stronger every single week, but most weeks, if done well, it will definitely get you results. But the priority of that 2-day split is to really strengthen your joints. And by not doing this, your joints will just naturally start to decay as a normal form of aging, but it's going to get accelerated by grappling because unfortunately, as legendary as our training partners are, they have bad intentions and they're going to put our joints in weird angles. And if we don't counteract it with stuff like this, great exercises that really focus on full range of motion at all of the joints. We don't avoid the knees because our knees feel a little bit stiff on the morning. We train them, but we train them well. And a 2-day split, full body 1, full body 2, is a fantastic way to get your joints nice and strong. Progressing on to, I say progressing, absolutely not progressing, a 3-day split. Now, either or is good, but ultimately it comes down to your training, you know, you're basically how you view your week as a bloke, you know, doing jiu-jitsu and, you know, family commitments as well. Adding on something else may be quite a big deal to you. So a 2-day or a 3-day, at the end of the day, what realistically matters the most is just how consistently you can stick to either or, right? People panic whenever I'm on a call with people. They're like, oh my God, I train 5 or 6 times a week and I don't know how long I can keep that up. Well, I'm not interested in people that are training 6 times a week. I'm more interested in people that can consistently stick to 2 or 3 and really train hard and effectively. But it ultimately comes down to what you can consistently stick to. You know, I always say be conservative. So if you think you can train, if you genuinely think with grappling and everything else that goes on in your life that you can consistently stick to 4 sessions per week, I'd say err on the side of caution and just stick with the 3. Get some money in the bank, get some consistency, and maybe once you've absolutely smashed in the 3s, then maybe up it to 4. However, you know, try always to prioritize grappling. So the 3-day split, it changes slightly, right? With the 3-day split, we've got an upper body, a lower body session, and then a full body session. So what we do here is we just add a few exercises into the upper and the lower just to get a little bit more variation, get a little bit more gains out of each one, and then we round everything off nicely in the week. With these 2-day or 3-day sessions, all I would advise is that you don't do them back to back. Leave a gap in between. So don't do full body on a Monday, full body on a Tuesday and think you're an absolute legend. Make sure you give yourself a bit of a breather in between these lifting sessions. So let's get into the 3. And you'll just see there's a slight variation. But again, it's about what fits into your life with as little hassle as possible. So the 3-day split, which I usually run for grapplers, is flat dumbbell chest press, 3 sets. Notice how we can actually do 3 sets on when we target the upper and the lower separately. And we're not forcing ourselves to be in the gym for absolutely hours. So we can add the extra set on. Do you know what I mean? So flat dumbbell chest press, needle mover exercises. Every exercise is like the best exercise for that muscle. Best exercise for training the joint as effectively as possible, but also building some muscle size as well. Pec fly machine, incline chest press machine, lat pull down, wide arm horizontal row, and a narrow row machine. So we've got chest and back, good upper body day, basic push and pull. All 3 sets, and again, keeping it simple, not doing 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, and different rep ranges all over the place. Just going, bosh, these are the best exercises. We're doing 3 sets of each, 6 to 10 reps, and we're going to have intent to progress our lifts, our form, and improve our recovery rates as the weeks progress. The lower body one, similar sort of fashion. We've got leg extension machine, which is knee flexion, training the knees, hamstring curl machine, again, training the knees, deep Smith machine back squat, full knee flexion. The reason I like to do this, I like to program a deep Smith machine back squat, is because typically with blokes that grapple, they have, mobility issues, and whether the mobility issues come from the hips or the ankles, when we have a variation of a squat, it takes mobility out of the equation, so we can fully focus on strengthening the knee, even though your muscles are really, really tight. And this exercise is one of many exercises that I use to allow the knee to fully bend, or, as you probably know, arse to grass. After that, we go leg press machine, dumbbell RDL. Again, 3 sets of 10 for the most part. And then the full body to round it all off. So full body, we've got RDL Smith machine. Again, I'm of a belief, massive fan of machines. Think about it. Machines are built to work the joints as effectively as possible. If that machine wasn't built to work the joints as effectively as possible, they wouldn't be sold to gyms and make millions. So the joint angles, all of these things, obviously you're going to get some crap machines in the gym, but for the most part, they train your joints insanely well. Now, you might walk into a gym and you might look at the sea of machines and you might be very overwhelmed, but every single one of them machines is just a new, different way to challenge and train the strength of your joints. So if you just have that shift in mindset, you can go into a gym, learn how to use these crazy machines, and you know what I mean? I'll show you how to use a lot of them as well on this channel, but it's just new ways to train the strength of your joints. And if you look at that sea of machinery and panic with overwhelm, you're putting yourself in a bit of a struggle, because we need all that stuff to get our joints strong. Do you know what I mean? So the full body session, we've got the Romanian deadlift Smith machine, really targets the hamstrings and the glutes. We've got the barbell glute bridge, obviously glutes, pec fly machine, chest dips, chin up or a variation, and we've got dumbbell row chest assisted, dumbbell lateral raise, and a decline leg raise. So we get a little bit of hip flexors and core to finish. Again, 2-day or 3-day, we're training the full body twice. Like in 2 or 3 days in a week, we're training the full body twice. Like, it's absolutely mental that nobody does it like this. Like, most people are doing one muscle on one day, and they're training that one muscle, like a fairly low intensity, for about an hour and a half, and then they're doing the next muscle, then they're doing the next, then they might have a rest day and forget about the can't be asked going to the gym on a Friday. This allows you to do pure quality in as little as time as possible. That's why I'm doing these videos, so important. Right, there's a 2-day and 3-day. Summary. Most men that do jiu-jitsu and nothing else. a lot of men find jiu-jitsu and it completely takes over their life for good reason, but the lifting just falls down that priority list. And I say this with absolute certainty. Without the lifting, you have no longevity in this sport. You're just gonna drop off a cliff. Your joints are just gonna fall to pieces. And a lot of men sadly use these injuries and these niggles and stuff like that as badges of honor. Oh, you know, my knees are hurt, and it's funny. It's a bit of bravado. However, at the end of the day, the people that last in this sport are the people that lift. It's as simple as that, right? I've already told you about the most men that lift only train each muscle generally once per week, if that. But I know a lot of people don't lift, and I know some of the reasons to why people don't lift. They don't think about the muscles. They don't think about, oh, I don't want to be protein shake man. I get it. However, don't be protein shake man. Think about getting strong joints. Do you know what I mean? Think about going to the gym and lifting or strength training to strengthen your joints for jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a mindset shift. And like I said, twice per week. A 2 and a 3 day, you're training your muscles twice a week. Do not for a second think that you need to do an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym training one muscle. Train with real intent. Do the best exercise you can. Get yourself in the gym, out the gym. No hassle. Back to your family. Happy days. Does that make sense? And just to say it, this is, without a doubt, 100% what I would do if I was an injury-prone grappler with zero confidence of lifting or zero experience. Right, men, tomorrow I'm going to be I'm filling the gaps. So I'm going to be talking specifically how to train. I'm going to be going into the technique, concepts, technique, intensity. How intense should you be training? How hard should you be working? Especially, if you are injury prone. And I'm going to be talking about control as well. These I call technique, intensity, and control. I call these the 3 rules of strength training and basically getting stronger joints. Now, I'm going to be talking more in detail about that tomorrow. Hopefully, I see you there. But that's it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want this presentation sending over to you, message me on Instagram. The link is in the description. If you would like to work with me on a close basis, I actually coach grapplers similar to yourself in these settings. So again, the links are in the description if that interests you. But that's it from me.